creature, Shang Tsung?
Sent here by you, as it happens.
All words you utter are lies.
Alright, what's going on, guys? It's GSR here. So basically I wanted to talk to you guys today about my #1 favorite Mortal Kombat character of all time, Liu Kang. So with that being said, let's just get started. So Liu Kang has really good range on his fatal blow. It's a mid. Not only that, it starts up at 16 frames, so it's pretty quick. Now, one thing you need to note about Liu Kang's fatal blow is look where you're at. That means what exactly? That means that I could start up a zoning game, right? Now, every character's fatal blow is very different. It positions you in certain areas to where it benefits the opponent that hit you with that fatal blow, if that makes any sense to you guys, right? So that's pretty much Liu Kang's fatal blow. He could definitely, you know, catch you off guard every now and then with that fatal blow. He can definitely, you know, zone you after his fatal blow is done. So you might want to keep that in mind. When it comes to his forward throw and his backwards throw, his forward throw complements this variation a lot. Reason why is because Liu Kang can technically zone in this variation, and as you can clearly see, you get knocked way the fuck over there, which starts up what? This annoying ass zoning game to where he can cover a huge portion of the stage. Not only that, on his forward throw, he gets access to what? A crushing blow, which technically I don't believe characters like this need, but it is what it is, right? Now, when it comes to his back throw, it complements his variation as well for a lot of different reasons, and he has a crushing blow in his back throw, so his throwing is going to be intimidating because you're not going to want to tech the throw in the wrong direction, because if you do, that's what's going to happen to you. Now, the thing about this is that you're going to be intimidated to actually, you know, wake up with an attack like a up 2, up 3, or down 1, or whatever the hell you're trying to do. Reason why is because you don't know what he's going to do when you wake up. He can hit you with a parry to get his crushing blow. Not only that, he can actually go for a plus situation just like this. He might be able to stagger and then throw you afterwards. Not only that, he can just go for his Chinese warrior string and stagger that and create that mind game. Or he could go for his, you know, his back 1, 2, 4 string, and he could stagger it and do whatever the hell he wants to do. So, you know, you waking up is pretty much you committing suicide if you make the incorrect read, because Liu Kang can get like a lot of damage on you with his parry. So both of his throws are unbelievably good. They complement this variation very, very well. So now we're going to talk about Liu Kang's pokes. Alright guys, so when it comes to Liu Kang's pokes, he has really good hit advantage on all of them. 12 frames, 12 frames, 19 frames, so he can easily dash up like this, and he has all day in the world to dash up and then mix your shit up with a mid or a throwing situation, and you have no choice but to guess on that situation. Now obviously when you see him dash in, you're going to think he's going to throw you, and when you press the button, you get countered and possibly crushing blows, or he could take it upon himself to hit you and then call it a day. You know what I'm saying? So you need to be careful with that particular situation. And then his startup time is actually really good for his pokes. 12 frames, 10 frames, you know, 7 frames, and he's really safe on block when it comes to all of his pokes. Another thing he can do is that he can actually parry you. Now, you're mainly going to use his down 4 to kind of like, you know, control space and stuff like that to prevent the opponent from going for their best far-reaching normal. So if I get Shang Tsung to do this, I can actually hit his button just like that very easily if I predict he's going to do that. Or you could go for his down 3. It's really up to you. You can choose whichever option you want, because both of them, both of his down 3 and his down 4 have pretty much similar range. So, you know, just keep that in mind. His down 3, as you can clearly see, is like right here, and then his down 4 reaches like pretty much almost the same range, I think, from what it looks like to me, at least, because you know, his down 4 is coming out fast as shit. So his down 4 is like right in this area right here, and then his down 3, it seems like his down 3 has just a little bit more range. That's what it seems like to me. So yeah, I mean, both of them have similar range, like I said, and you can use them. You know what I'm saying? You could definitely go for his down 3 to kind of like check the opponent if they try to go for, like, you know, their best far-reaching normal. You could definitely do that, and what's good about it is that you don't have to dash forward like you do when it comes to his down 4. But then again, I mean, you can use his down 4 if you want, because he has really good hit advantage to where they have no choice but to block. Not unless you somehow fuck this up, that is. But overall, I think this is pretty much everything about his pokes. Now, one more thing is that he can make himself -3 on block when he goes for his down 1. That's something else that I wanted to show you guys. And if you space this out correctly, he becomes 13 frames on hit. So let me see if I can actually show you guys that. It's going to be kind of difficult, but it is what it is. So hold on, let me see if I can get this. I gotta get at a certain distance. I don't want to be too close. Hold on. There we go. Instead of 13 frames, it can become 14 frames as well. That's another thing I forgot to add. His hit advantage just keeps on increasing the more he spaces out his down one. So just keep that in mind. It's kind of weird why it does that, but it is what it is. So I think that's everything about his pokes. Like I said, he can go for a parry very easily. Now, when he goes for his down one against certain characters, he might be able to backdash to whiff punish them. So let me see if I can actually show you guys this real quick. Down one. Okay, there we go. This is another thing. Now, Spawn is a character that can definitely do this. So as you can clearly see, Liu Kang is able to backdash, and if we look at Shang Tsung's recovery, it's 13 frames. So if I knew he was going to do that, I can do that with my forward 4 that starts up at 11 frames, and you guys kind of get the idea. That's another thing that I forgot to add about Liu Kang's down one. So with that being said, let's get started on his variations, special moves, and combo strings. Alright guys, so the first move that we're going to talk about in Liu Kang's variation would have to be his Dragon Parry. So the reason why you're not going to wake up is because of his Crushing Blow. And even if he didn't have the Crushing Blow, this parry is still intimidating because he gets really good damage on you. So you can clearly see here, this causes a major issue and you lose a shit ton of health, right? Now, if he had access to his Fatal Blow, he could possibly almost kill you, depending on what the situation is looking like, right? Another thing to keep in mind is that he can use this in the middle of his Chinese warrior string very easily, which is going to force you to do what? It's going to force you to actually block, right? And this causes a serious problem in itself because now you're going to be like, oh shit, this nigga just did that shit to me. Now he can get more damage than that by going for his back 1-2-4 string. But I just wanted to show you guys a quick example of that. Another way that he can actually get this out is that he can use it for his down 1 and down 3 and down 4 situations. If he knows that you're going to block it and press a button afterwards that's like a mid or a high, you kind of get the idea with that. He can also use this to go through gaps very easily. But another way that he can get his Crushing Blow out, right, is by going for you know, a situation to where the opponent is trying to flawless block you. So as you can clearly see, my easy Crushing Blows is off, right? So if I was to flawless block this string, look what happens. So another thing Liu Kang can do is he can knock you away just like this, and he can start up his zoning game, and he gets almost 30%, which that's still really good if he decides not to use a bar meter. So keep that in mind. Now I'm gonna have you know, Shang Tsung go for his plus situation, and we're gonna see what happens. So as you guys can clearly see here, Liu Kang can definitely get like a combo on Shang Tsung very easily. As you guys can clearly see here, and he can cause like a major issue with this parry. Now you're gonna block, and the reason why you're gonna hold block when it comes to his Chinese warrior string is because you don't know when he's gonna go for the parry. That's the problem. And you want to go for certain strings that you want to go for, and you can't do that because of that parry, right? And how good his damage is off of it, right? So that's pretty much everything about Liu Kang's Dragon Parry from my understanding of it. And now we're going to talk about like his low fireball. Alright guys, so his low fireball complements his high fireball because this actually allows him to zone you, and now you're not going to be able to do what exactly? You're not going to be able to neutral crouch his highs anymore, not unless he goes directly for a high and you see it, right? So now you're going to have no choice but to block because he can keep doing this, and then when you try to hop up or jump, that's when this high comes into play, right? Not only that, he also has this projectile as well, to where like he has a requirement for that also, but we'll get to that very shortly here. So like I said, he can zone you very well. Now what he gets off of this is a pop-up, right? So in the corner he can pop the opponent up into the air, and then he can get himself a combo, right? Very easily, right? As you guys can clearly see here. Now he can get more damage off of that stuff, but I'm just showing you guys clear examples. Now the problem with this particular situation is that when it comes to female characters, his two combos are very difficult to get out. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to show you guys a clear example. So I'm going to pick the biggest female character in the game, which happens to be Sindel, right? She's pretty much as big as Liu Kang, I think. So let me show you guys a clear example of this, right? So Sindel would have to be like the biggest female character in the game right now, or for right now. And what's weird about it is that when it comes to female characters in this game, this is the problem that I have with female characters in the game. You can't do certain combos on these characters in this game, which makes no sense. But Liu Kang can do all his combos on male characters very easily, but when it comes to female characters, that doesn't apply, right? So I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about, because some of you guys are probably confused. So you know how I hit Shang Tsung with that 1 2 3 string? Watch this. You see how dumb this is? You see how dumb this is? That doesn't make any sense how, like, I can punish you and try to put your ass into a combo and I can't do this combo. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Even when it comes to this, it's very hard to time that because these females are so fucking small. You see that? So it's like, dude, it's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Like, I'm trying to tell you, like, it's the dumbest shit I've ever seen, and this is just something that I wanted to give you guys a heads up on. So if you are going to get the female character, I highly recommend you just hit them with bicycle kicks, knock them down, and then, you know, continue your pressure from there, because you're going to get frustrated and very angry, and you're going to be confused how that didn't hit, and then you're going to think that your timing is off or something like that, and then you're going to just get pissed off. So that's just something that I wanted to show you guys real quick, with Liu Kang's little low fireball when he's trying to put female characters into combos, because I just think it's really weird how, like, he could do this to male characters very easily, but when it comes to female characters, that shit doesn't apply. So it's just like, that's dumb. So that's just my opinion on it. That's the reason why I don't like it when female characters are in fighting games, because they can get away with certain shit. Even in MKX, they can get away with certain shit because they're so small. So it's just, I just really don't agree with how, you know, the females hurtbox or hitbox is in the game, but that's just my opinion. And like I said, guys, he can zone you, he can keep you out all day long, because his backboard one gets complemented by his low very easily, and this causes a problem, which is going to force you to do what? It's going to force you to get in on him, and then that's when shit gets real spicy, because that's what he wants, and he can actually, you know, hit you with plus frames, staggers, and mind games and mix-ups and shit. So it just causes a lot of different issues, but you guys kind of get the idea with his low fireball. And now we're going to talk about Liu Kang's little stance here. Alright guys, so when it comes to Liu Kang's Shaolin stance, I highly recommend you don't go for a cancel with this, because he doesn't recover quick enough, as you guys can clearly see here. Not only that, if you do it at close range and you try to press a button, he's really minus on block, as you can clearly see here. It doesn't matter if he goes for a plus situation, he's really minus. So I highly recommend you don't go for his cancel. It's a waste of time. Main things that you're going to do is go for his sneaky monk, which is his low, that is -8 on block, starts up at 7 frames. It knocks the opponent down, which allows him to continue pressure. So if I was to knock him down, I get a high hit advantage of 34 frames, and I'm in your face again, right? If I was to hit you with this, I can dash up and I'm in your face. Another thing that I can actually do is I can back up and I can start up my zoning game, right? So you kind of get the idea with that. Another thing that I wanted to show you guys real quick, because there's some more stuff that you guys don't know, that I will show you guys, right? So if Liu Kang was to do this, if you go for a mid, that doesn't work. So your mid will have to be fast enough. That's the whole point. If you go for a standing one, you get punished very easily. If you go for a throw, look what happens. He gets hit. Now another thing you can do is that you can actually hop up like this as well, but I'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, you guys kind of get the idea here. And if the opponent decides to block low, the reason why they're going to do that is because they think that you're going to go for you know, his sneaky monk move, right? Which causes a problem, because now the opponent's gonna get hit with that shit, right? So now the move comes out at 5 frames, right? So it's pretty quick. I wouldn't say this is like a legit 50-50, because you do have a chance of reacting to it, but it comes out so quick, and it will catch you off guard, because if I'm getting you so used to seeing this, I mean, dude, you're gonna get hit. Now this parry that he has complements this, because you're obviously going to press a button to get out of that situation, and when you press a button, that's when obviously he can hit you with a parry, because you're going to press a button because you don't want to get hit by his low, or you don't want him going into his stance, you know what I mean? So I think that's pretty much everything about this Shaolin stance from what I remembered. So now we're going to get to Liu Kang's combo strings. Alright guys, so when it comes to Liu Kang's twin Lotus string, aka his 1 2 3 string, off of this he gets plus frames, he can stagger really well, he can go for an abare, you know, he can use this in combos like his 1 2, he can use this right here and then go directly into a combo ender, so you can definitely use this in combos. Now when he goes for a standing one, he's -2. But if you space it out correctly, he becomes 0 on block or -1, as you guys can clearly see right here, right? So he can stagger like this and then go for a throw, or if he knows that you're going to press a button, right, he can go directly into an Abare. Now, he has plus frames that leave him +3 on block, right? So this is really good because it complements his Dark Order string, which is his back 1, 2, 4 string. And the mind game with that string is that when he goes for this, he can stagger it and then throw you afterwards, because if you look at the delay here, there's a delay before he goes for the other 2 hits with this string. So this back 1 is no longer 9 frames after he's +3 on block. It becomes 6 frames on startup, right? Because he can move 3 frames faster than the opponent. So most opponents cannot actually challenge Liu Kang whatsoever, not unless they decide to go for a flawless block situation, right? Now, characters like Aaron Black, Terminator, that have a 6 frame down 1, they could definitely challenge Liu Kang by mashing a down 1 just to get themselves out of a bad situation. But what Liu Kang can do is that if he knows you're going to do that, he can just parry you very easily, because he knows that you're going to take it upon yourself to do something like that, right? He can also use this in combos. You know, like I said, he can use this to stagger very well, and he can stagger this, and he can use this in combos as well. But mainly, the main mind game off of this is that he can actually just, you know, stagger, go for a throw, and if you fuck up, then he can obviously put you into a combo. Now, he has a high-mid type of mind game with his strings at close range, because you're obviously going to poke, because you don't want him throwing you, because that's exactly what he's going to do, and then he could throw you afterwards and create that really powerful mind game at close range. So his pressure is actually really good, you know what I mean? So that's pretty much everything with his 1, 2, 3 string and his back 1, 2, 4 string. They both complement each other for these reasons, because they don't, like, how should I put it? The opponent doesn't know whether or not you're going to go for the mid or you're going to go for more plus frames. And this causes the problem, because now they don't want to press a button because they'll get comboed. Alright guys, so another thing to keep in mind is that Liu Kang can, you know, obviously do stuff like this very easily. So just keep that in mind. He has a flawless block gap in this one right here, to where you can up 2 or up 3 him. But the thing about it is that all you really have to do against Liu Kang is just to block the low and, you know, let go of block and then punch him in the face, because when he goes for this, right, the other hit is literally a high, right? So you have a chance of punishing, you know, this character if you can react quick enough. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that he can go for his parry very easily, or he can go in directly into a stance. So you need to watch out from that. Mainly, he might do it with like this, but I don't think there's a real reason to do it, because I mean, his strings alone are so good by itself. You know what I mean? Now, another thing I forgot to add is that if the opponent has a 6 frame down 1, instead of you going for your back 1, you can just go for your down 1. And this is going to force the opponent to block, which allows Liu Kang to throw them. And if he hits them with the down 1, he can throw them and create that mid throwing mind game. And it's just a lot of good shit that Liu Kang can actually do to you off of this. And, you know, like I said, -4, you know, -6 on block, so he's really safe. He might end up hitting you with this, or he might end up going for a parry and stuff like that. So you have to be very careful with this situation, because Liu Kang can, you know, he can create really good mind games to get you to respect. Right? And when you respect, that's when he can throw you all the fucking time, because he knows that you're not going to do shit, right? So now we're going to talk about his done listening string and continue on from there. Alright guys, so when it comes to Liu Kang's 2-1, 2-1 string, I don't think there's necessarily any reason to go for it, not unless you do it in combos. Keep in mind, he is really safe on it. There's nothing wrong with you doing it to a certain degree, because he is really safe on it to where he can go for an Abare. But it's mainly going to be used for combos, as you guys can clearly see here. So I think its main use is for combos. I don't think you should be doing this while the opponent is blocking your pressure and stuff like that. I don't think that would be a good idea. I mean, you could do it if you want. I've seen certain Liu Kang players do this to me, and I'm just like, really? You know what I'm saying? And then they would try to press a button, but then they would get hit. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's really a good idea to go for that, not unless you do it in combos. Other than that, that's pretty much everything about his done listening string. When it comes to his lost soul, his back 2 down 2, there's no flawless block gap in it. Now, majority of his combo strings have no flawless block gap in it whatsoever, except for the last 3, right? So when Liu Kang goes for his back 2 down 2 string, he can actually do this, and he gets a good amount of space. Now, this might catch the opponent off guard every now and then, because, you know, they're going to think you're going to come into the full string, and then you just do that, and that's it, and then you backdash, and then you might be able to whip punish them. Another thing he could do is he can go directly into a low, he can go for a parry. You know, they're probably going to think you're going to go for a low, which obviously that's probably more than likely what you're going to do. So just kind of keep this stuff in mind. Now, if you try to backdash, Shang Tsung probably will chase you down with a forward 2 or a back 1. So Shang Tsung's forward 2 starts up at 17 frames. So I'm -8 on block. So if I was to do -8 plus, you know, 7, or 7 plus -8, whether or not I go for my down 1 or I go for my standing 1, that gives me 15 frames, right? Which means that I'm 2 frames faster than his forward 2. So I could definitely use this to my advantage, right? Especially if I know you're going to press a button, I can just parry your ass very easily. Now, when he goes for, you know, the full string, he can definitely go for an Abare very easily. He has really fantastic frame data, so it's very easy for him to do this. But overall, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much everything about, you know, his Lost Soul string. And when it comes to a quick end, he gets really good damage off of this, but the last hit has a flawless block gap in it, right? So, as you guys can clearly see here, he's -3 on block, right? Which means that he's really safe. Now, what he gets off of this is really good damage, right? So if I was to do this, right? That's an easy 27% damage. If I was to do this right here, 27% damage. If I was to jump in, right, we're going to see how much damage he gets. 30% damage. Very brain dead. So if I was to jump in like this, let's do this. Easy 30-something% damage. So if you want to use 1 bar, you might as well just use that. If you do jump in on the opponent and you just want to get like a solid damage very easily, I mean, it's very brain dead. I mean, as you can clearly see, his combos are very brain dead, which I'll get to that very shortly here. But as you guys can clearly see, he can get really, really good damage. And if you do jump in on the opponent and they have no more, you know, defensive bars, you can get like solid damage if you mash the 3 button. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to show you guys what he gets without mashing the 3 button. Easy 44% damage. So as you can clearly see here, he gets like crazy amounts of damage off of this. But the main thing you're going to go for with this is that you're just going to go for his 3-4, right? So the reason why I say that is because Liu Kang, you know, can obviously get like really good damage on you with this move. And that's just my opinion. You guys can go for whatever you want to go for, but he definitely gets like really, really solid damage on you very easily. Just off of that alone, and using 1 bar, I got 30%. And I haven't even did a full-fledged combo on you yet. You know what I mean? Especially if you try to do something stupid and I go for my parry. If I'm quick enough, I can do this. 37% damage easily. You see that? So his damage gets even higher when he goes for that. So just keep that in mind. And then when it comes to like his Dragon's Breath, what he can do off of his Dragon's Breath is that he can stagger it, right? So he can quickly do this and go directly into this without you even realizing it. And if you disrespect, you get hit and then put directly into a combo, right? So that kind of causes an issue in itself. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on, right? Flows by gap. See that? Flows by gap. Now, keep in mind, when Liu Kang does this, he can stagger this like this, and then he can go directly into a throw, because you're going to think he's going to commit into the full string. So he definitely has kind of like a mind game here to where he can stagger this. Now, he is -9 on block, but he can make himself safe if he knows that you're just going to block the full string. Not only that, he has a flows by gap in the last hit, but it doesn't matter because he stays -12 on block even when you flows block him, right? So you kind of get the mind game here. He can either make himself safe, he can stagger it just like this and then throw you afterwards, and if you feed into temptation because you thought he was going to stagger, he could pop you up into the air for a combo very easily. So you need to be very careful with this situation or you will get punished, right? And I think that's pretty much everything with that string in itself. And now we're going to get on to the last string that a majority of people actually hate. Alright guys, so when it comes to Liu Kang's Chinese warrior string, he has like 4 different levels of it. That's what I like to call it, 4 levels. So he has level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. So off of this string alone, he causes really powerful mind games because you don't know when he's going to cancel into something. You don't know if he's going to stagger. You don't know. Not only that, he has access to a crushing blow on this move. that will fucking destroy you. Not only that, he can also do it in the corner, and he gets like even more damage on you, right? So if I put Shang Tsung into the corner, right, and Shang Tsung was pressing buttons and shit, or like I hit him with a plus frame situation and somehow he got hit by this, I can get a big ass combo on him, especially if I have the bars of meter, right? So I can make it really difficult for you in the corner, right? Especially if I have this, because his damage increases dramatically, right? So yeah, I mean, he could stagger, he can go for parries in the middle of this, because how should I put it? The biggest tip that I can show you guys is you should keep doing this, right? Getting the opponent so concerned about this. The reason why is because they're more than likely going to feed into temptation to pressing a button. The reason why I say that is because you're getting them so used to seeing this that when you do this, they're going to be waiting on you to do that, and then this happens. You see how I didn't go for the third hit? I went directly for a grab, so now they have something to think about. So now the string becomes even more dangerous. The reason why the string becomes even more dangerous is because now, if Shang Tsung took it upon himself to let go of block, guess what the fuck happens, ladies and gentlemen? That means that when I go for this, he gets hit with the last hit, and then I can knock him down. Yeah, I may not get the crazy amounts of damage, but guess what? You got hit, and now you're gonna deal with one of my combo enders, right? So this kind of causes a problem for the opponent, because now they're gonna be like, okay, motherfucker, you're trying to play me. You're trying to fucking play me. How dare you? So, you know, that's pretty much like what he could do off of this string very easily. He can either stagger or go directly into a special move. You just don't know what he's gonna do. And like I said, the best way to do this is by doing this, because then the opponent's gonna be so scared, because now if they get parried, they're gonna be like, okay, he might go for a parry. Boom, plus situation. Boom, stagger, boom, throw. It's like, dude, you're kind of fucked. Especially if the Liu Kang player knows exactly how to, you know, apply this pressure correctly. Dude, and this mind game correctly, dude, you're fucked. So it's like, when it comes to his down one, right? The reason why I'm bringing this up is because after you do this, you can definitely go for a down one very easily, just like this, and that still creates a really good mind game because he can still go for his parry. Another thing is that he's -7 on all of it, right? So he could definitely neutral crouch a high if he predicts you're going to throw and stuff like that. So he still has a chance of combating you and trying to take another turn. So you have to be very, very careful when it comes to this situation. He can also use this in combos. So a clear example of this is like his kick, which is somewhat of a cross-up attack. He could do shit like this to you, and then, you know, obviously do this very easily, and, you know, you guys kind of get the idea here. So yeah, I think this is pretty much everything about his Chinese warrior string. Another thing he could do is that he can easily go directly into his fatal blow, and there's nothing you can do about it, and he gets like pretty solid damage for the most part without even me pressing the 3 button. So you know, and the thing is, like, even if, you know, you make the correct read, knowing for a fact that he's going to just go for the 3rd hit and that's it, he's safe. Like, it doesn't matter. He's safe, bro. Like, he's safe. It doesn't matter. The nigga's safe on damn near everything that he does. So it's like, you know, it causes a problem, and I can see why people dislike this Chinese warrior string. It has a really powerful mind game. And I think that's pretty much it when it comes to that. And now we're going to get to his regular special moves and his crushing blows. Alright guys, so when it comes to Liu Kang's special moves, he has a air fireball that he can use in the middle of combos. But the only reason why I would go for his air fireball is if I know I'm going to get really good amounts of damage. But the only reason why I would do this is because he has access to a crushing blow that you can get it with if it's at maximum range. So if Cetrion was to take it upon herself to actually jump, right? And, you know, she jumped into the air, and I knew she was going to jump into the air, I can get this crushing blow on her very easily. Another way that you can get this is by countering or punishing, you know, the opponent from a certain distance, you know what I mean? And he'll get like that, and he can start up his zoning game, including the one where I did the air fireball just like that. Now, I'm going to show you guys a creative way that he can get this out, right? So I'm going to have Cetrion go for like her down 3, and that's what we're gonna do here, right? So I'm gonna turn off, right? And you're gonna see what happens. So Cetrion is -15 on block, right? Keep that in mind. Now there are certain things you can do to stop this, right? You can hop up into the air, right? Another thing you can do is you can do that. So you can punish her if she takes it upon herself to do that shit, right? So Cetrion needs to take this into consideration, because when you get hit by that, that guarantees zoning for Liu Kang, or he can dash in and close the distance very, very quickly, right? And then throw out a projectile. So he has an option of doing that. Now, Liu Kang, when he goes for this is a combo ender of his. As you can clearly see, he can either do that, so he can do this in a combo, get really good damage, and he can knock you away, start up his zoning game, or he can knock you down and then pressure you and then do whatever the hell he wants to do, right? Now, when it comes to his bicycle kicks, right, he has really, really good corner carry. So if I was to hit Cetrion like this, right, I can carry her ass directly into the corner if I want to. If my back is pushed into the corner and I manage to hit her somehow, I can literally just do this and call it a day, right? And now I'm out of the corner, right? He also has a really high hit advantage on this as well, as you guys can clearly see. Yeah, hold on, let me actually take her off of that because it's not showing it for some reason. So you can clearly see really high hit advantage, to where I have enough time to react to what you're doing possibly, and it can cause major issues, right? Now he has access to a crushing blow on this, to where he gets undeniable amounts of damage. Like you can't deny that. That's crazy fucking damage. Now off of his you know, his 3-4-3 string, he can't do this combo on female characters. See this? He can't do this on female characters whatsoever. So not unless they're in the corner, right? If they're in the corner, then he can do this on the female character, but if they're not in the corner, then he's not going to be able to do it, right? And just keep that in mind. But when it comes to male characters, he can do that very easily. Now, another thing that I wanted to show you guys real quick is Liu Kang can perform what I like to call a cross-up attack, right? If it's timed correctly, he can literally carry you all over the fucking screen, if it's done correctly, right? Now, you're gonna have to get it down packed, like with the timing, because you know, I don't remember how Cetrion's goes completely, but if I can time it correctly, I can show you guys what I'm talking about. So let me see if I can do this real quick. See that? See what I mean? So if you know she's gonna up 3 and shit, you can definitely do this. See that shit? And then she gets hit, but I keep dropping it because of mistiming it and shit, so hold on. Now, you have the option of either doing his flying dragon kick, or you can go directly back into his bicycle kicks. That's another thing that you could do. One more thing that I want to add is that you can actually, you know, go for a reset in the corner. So let me show you guys what happens when Liu Kang does that to you, right? So if he times this correctly, right? Let me see if I time that correctly, because I'm going to just mash it down 1. Okay, there we go. It acted as a counter, so I'm going to turn this button on. So if Liu Kang does this, right? Oh shit, I don't want him doing that. Hold on, let me take that off. Alright, see this? I'm gonna mash it again. See that? I'm not able to down 1 this nigga at all, right? It acts as a counter. Now, this causes a problem because Liu Kang can create a really powerful mind game with this, because now, since he has a reset in the corner, he can actually just throw you. Right? And if you end up respecting anyway, guess what happens? He doesn't have to throw you at all. What he can do is that he can just hit you with plus frames and then start up his game from there. And that causes an issue in itself. Or he can go directly into a different string, because you don't know whether or not he's going to down 1 you. You don't know what he's going to do. You know what I mean? So I think this is pretty much everything about Liu Kang. And then he has obviously an uppercut crushing blow, which is pretty much universal. Like every character in the game actually has access to that. You know, and Liu Kang's game plan, for people who don't know, is that either one, you're going to come in and fight him like a man, or you're going to deal with his annoying ass zoning. So he can keep you out as long as possible. And when you get annoyed, you're going to want to come in on this fucking character. And then what's going to happen is that this is what he wants. And he's going to pressure you and hit you with plus frame staggers and mids and all that extra shit and throw you all over the fucking place. And that's what he wants. And his game plan is to get you to the corner. That's where Liu Kang excels at. And he excels in close range engagements. Now, he has zoning that makes up for the lack of range that he has, because as you can clearly see, his best far reaching normal would have to be his back 3, right? Some people think it's his back 2, and I can understand why they would think that, but I think it's definitely his back 3, right? Now, what else is there that I wanted to add? A good anti-air for Liu Kang would have to be a standing 1. If Cetrion was to jump in, I can hit her button very easily, and then get myself a combo, right? And then I can do whatever the hell I want to do. So you kind of get the idea with that. And I think this is pretty much everything. I don't think I'm missing anything, but if I am, I'll probably make an update video talking about it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Now, there's one more thing actually that I wanted to add. You know how Liu Kang always goes for his low, and you're able to actually punish him if he takes it upon himself to actually amplify that? The reason why you're going to be able to punish him is because the last hit is a high when he amplifies his move. So if he gets you to respect this low because you think he's going to do it and you're blocking, he can do this instead, and he can become -4, and now you can't necessarily punish his low because he has a low and a high, right? And like I said, from far away, his low complements his high and his high complements his low. Reason why is because if you take it upon yourself to jump, you get hit with the high. If you take it upon yourself to neutral crouch, you get hit with the low, and you still have to deal with the mind game because he might end up amplifying and doing that, right? Not only that, this applies at close range because if you respect the low and you block the low, guess what happens? Now I'm safe and I can do this and get a -4 situation. I can possibly backdash, or I can possibly go for an Abari and I can punish you for doing what you just, or for you trying to press a button, or you know, you get the idea here, right? So this is another thing that I forgot to add about this, but overall, man, my thoughts on Liu Kang, which is obviously my #1 favorite character of all time, he is S tier. If you don't think he's S tier in this variation, then you are sadly mistaken. This character is unbelievably fucking strong. He has really good matchups with a lot of different characters in the game. He could fuck up a good majority of the characters in the game very easily if you're going against the right Liu Kang player that knows exactly what they're doing and they dedicated enough time into this game. So yeah, overall, the character is completely brain dead. His combos are brain dead, and that's another thing. Good thing that I said something about that. Let me show you guys how brain dead this nigga's combos is, right? This character, right, is so brain dead that when he hits you with this, he gets 22%. If I was to do this to you again, that's 40-something% easily, right? So this is going to force you to break out because of the potential that he has off of these combos, right? Let me further explain what I mean by this, right? If he hits you with this, you know he's going to zone you. And for characters like Terminator, it's very hard for them to get in against a character like Liu Kang. And even when they get in, they still have to deal with the fact that he has really good pressure and mind games, right? So this forces you to do what exactly? This forces you to break, right? The reason why you're going to break is because you don't want that shit happening to you. But what you just did is you pretty much committed suicide because guess what the fuck just happened? You broke out of his combo, which that's what he wants. Guess what happens now? Staggers. Chinese warrior string coming out at your ass, plus frames, mind games. He can throw you, he can do whatever the fuck he wants to do to you, and he can keep on with relentless pressure, and you don't know what the fuck he's gonna do. You know what I'm saying? His combos are so short and so highly effective and so useful that it's some of the most brain dead shit you could ever do in the game. There's no creativity with these combos in this game at all. It's so brain dead and so noob friendly and so easy to do that a fucking kindergartner can pick up this character and cause you a fucking problem. That's how brain dead this character is. He can carry people in this game. You can be an amateur player or like a mid-level type of player, and you can cause a problem with this character. Liu Kang can make you look like you're godlike, bro, in this game. So, like I said, this is another thing that I wanted to talk about actually before I end this video. Hopefully you guys, you know, learned something off of Liu Kang and you understand how brain dead he is. I had some subscriber of mine, he wanted me to do like a collector video and do my thoughts on him, so I might end up doing that once I get enough time to, once I'm not busy and shit like that. So hopefully you guys are staying safe out there. Like, comment, and subscribe. I love you guys so much. Peace.
Fatality. Liu Kang wins. Flawless victory.